stylish, aggressive, and powerful. That's Rise Hunting Horn. Actually, that's when you understand the weapon and you don't get bodied. I often see a lot of questions asked about the hunting gun in Rise, about how you're supposed to play it, what are the good combos, what are good things to do, and honestly today is your lucky day because we are looking into how to play this weapon, and I have for you an advanced guide explaining how to do so. But before we start, I have two things to say. First, I've made 2 videos covering the hunting gun in Rise, explaining what's changed and also what's new. If you need a bit of a refresher, I will have a link so that you can check those videos out. Secondly, I will not be talking about the switch skills, Beat of Resonance and Melodic Slap. I have used them extensively and if I'm being honest, they are not really that great. I don't think they are worth changing the base moveset for. Alright, with that out of the way, my name is Deus, I am a hunting horn speedrunner, and today I bring you my advanced guide on how to play the hunting horn. Sharpness is not just important for your regular attacks, it also affects your shockwaves. See, the tricky thing about them is that the shockwaves do not consume sharpness when used, but they are affected by your sharpness level. So having higher sharpness means higher shockwave damage. It also goes the other way around, and dropping sharpness will decrease your damage output. That is why we use weapons with blue or white sharpness. This also means that we want to make the most out of our good sharpness, and to achieve that, we need to be sharpness efficient. Now, what do I mean by sharpness efficient? Essentially, there are specific moves that we will use more often, and there are other attacks that we will avoid because we need to use our best moves during that time frame. When we have the best sharpness available, that is. Attacks like the kick, double swing, and multi-crush fall in the category of moves we avoid because of their DPS to sharpness ratio. You typically don't want to use them that much unless you need them to cue notes. Oh, by the way, I won't be covering mix sets in this video because that's not the purpose, but if you're looking for that, Gravion made a good video on the 3.0 update in Monster Hunter Rise. If that's what you're looking for, you should check the link available right there on the screen. But back on topic, there's something that I've noticed many new hunting gun players do, and I think we really need to address it. When I watch new hunting gun players, I often notice 2 things. They will use the mag trio way too often, and they do not know what this move actually does because they never press it. So first, let's talk about the mag trio. After successfully lining up 3 notes of different colors, blue, red, and green, you will store a song called the Magnificent Trio. The attack looks flashy, deals damage, and lets you play all your songs at once. I totally understand why players would want to use it. I mean, it seems rather intuitive, you know? You focus on storing your 3 notes, and then you use your big move. The thing is, you really shouldn't be overusing that move, and there are many reasons as to why I would not recommend doing so. Let's get into it. Mag Trio lets you play all your songs at once, and while that's nice, you don't always need all your songs to be up at all times. If you're concerned about the melodies, Rise made playing them a lot easier, and that's something you should take advantage of. Typically speaking, you will want to focus on 1 or 2 songs that you want up at all time, and that's rather easy with both modes available in this game. If your hunting gun gauge isn't full, you won't be able to combo Mag Trio into your Inferno melody. In that case, Mag Trio turns into an attack with a long recovery animation that you will be forced to cancel with a roll. If you're dealing damage to the monster in that circumstance, then you won't be able to combo chain moves together. DPS wise, Mag Trio is really good if you can chain it into Infernal Melody. This can be done when your hunting gun gauge is full by pressing ZR after your Mag Trio. If your gauge is not full, then you won't be able to do that, and then Mag Trio becomes outclassed by the ZR A loop, which is the bread and butter combo for hunting gun, by the way. Very good, and I will touch on that later on. But let's continue. Regarding sharpness, Mag Trio will consume 4 units of sharpness whenever you use it. So if you think about it, the more you use that attack, the easier it gets to destroy that sharpness bar of yours. And if you remember what I said about being sharpness efficient, that is not really something we don't want to do, you know? I could go on, but I think you get the idea. The point I'm trying to make here is that Mag Trio on its own isn't as good as our best DPS combos, and it should be used more sparingly for that very reason. Where it truly shines is if you can chain it into Infernal Melody when your gauge is full. Then it becomes a very strong combo. But as you can see, this is not the move that you want to be spamming all day every day, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about the move called Perform. If you're watching Hunting on speedruns, it can be fairly easy to miss what this move actually is, because when it's used, it doesn't cue any notes on the music staff. But let me tell you, this is one of the most important attacks we have in our arsenal. On performance mode, Perform is an attack done by pressing ZR. This move is crazy good for many reasons. It deals good damage and has iframes, meaning that if you time it right, you can easily avoid taking damage. What also makes it so great is that it fills the hunting on gauge very quickly. Filling that gauge is a top priority because it unlocks Infernal Melody, a move that plays a stronger attack song called Song of Raging Flames. So in short, you should use Mag Trio sparingly and add more Perform into your combos. Speaking of combos, next we will talk about the good ones. The Hunting Hunt has 2 very good combos that you should use more often. The first one is the ZR A loop. That's the bread and butter combo, and it's essentially Perform chain into Crush. I have previously talked about why Perform was a strong move on its own, but pairing it with the Crush is what truly elevates it. See, the Crush allows you to aim in any direction of your choice, and that's extremely useful for adjusting on the fly regardless of what the monster is doing. This combo is sharpness efficient, powerful, and good at filling the gauge. You can use it for both Echo and Performance mode. For Echo mode though, I have to specify something. Keep in mind that Chord, which is the ZR move, doesn't have iframes. So that's something that you will have to watch out for when using it. The second combo is the ZR A XA loop, which I like to call Pound Time. It's an extension of the bread and butter combo where you add a super pound at the end and then you repeat. It's basically a stronger combo at the cost of more sharpness. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is so important about that XA you added there? What's the matter with that super pound? If you use the pound after a crush or a multi-crush, it results in a faster animation, and the first hit of the attack gets a damage boost. So it's actually an enhanced version of the regular super pound, and that's why we want to use it specifically after the crush. The pound combo works for both performance and echo mode, but where it truly shines is with echo. In performance mode, you get your songs when you cue 2 notes of the same color. In that mode, what you mostly do is using the ZR A loops. Lining up 2 red notes is part of the DPS combo, and that's easy. Now, lining up blue or green notes? That results in lower DPS, and you don't want to do that unless you have to cue those notes. In echo mode though, you line up the notes and then press ZR to play them. What this does is it makes activating the green note songs a lot easier. Let me use the Rampage Horn as an example to illustrate this. With Attack Melody 2, you get Sonic Wave on the green note. Now, with Performance, you will rarely cue 2 green notes in a row, which means that Sonic Wave won't be used as much. If you do use Echo mode, having 1 note cued is enough to play its song. So each time you do the pound combo in Echo mode, you always play Sonic Wave, and that's giving you more damage for free. The difference between these 2 combos is when you should use them. ZRA can be used whenever, both when the monster is down and when it's moving around. ZRA XA is longer and harder to land normally, so that's what you will focus on when the monster is down specifically. And that is how these 2 combos work. Now I would like to move on to gameplay and break down how you should approach fights with both Echo and Performance mode. Alright, I will talk about the flow of the weapon for both performance and echo mode. Let's start with performance. So, with performance, your main goal is to chain moves together. That's typically done by using ZR and then chaining that into many notes of your choice. It can be ZRA, ZRX, or ZRXA. The move perform has iframe, and that means that you can time it well to avoid attacks altogether. And this means that you can keep attacking while dodging, and you will keep your combo going in the same process. Your bread and butter combo is the ZRA loop. ZRX or ZRXA are mainly used if you need the song tied to those notes. This is easy to understand if we take the example of the attack Melody 2 Rampage Hunting Horn. On that horn, our most important song is the attack and affinity one. If we only use ZRA combos, eventually it will run out. So, from time to time, you will want to do ZRX twice to replay it. That's kinda how you want to see the X and XA notes in general. Sometimes you will have to stop the offense to roll or reposition. You will also want to know when to press ZR because there are instances where it's not the correct answer, it's not the best thing to do. Some monsters have combo strings. That's the case for the double wing slam from Valstrax. Pressing ZR to evade the first slam will most likely prevent you from dodging the second one in time. In that scenario, it's best to roll first and then press ZR. But that's what I meant by you should know when to use ZR, it's not always the correct answer. Before I talk about the gameplay for Echo, there is one misconception that I would like to clear. See, Echo mode is far from being bad. In fact, it can be as good, if not better than performance, and that depends on the matchup, on the monster you are fighting. Chord and Perform, the attack exclusive to both modes, deal exactly the same amount of damage, so we cannot say that one is superior to the other based on that alone. Echo mode has good upward reach and is better at targeting a specific body part compared to performance, thus allowing for better positioning. It is true that Echo mode lacks the iframes of performance, but that is not always needed. Fights like Nawa or the All-Mother feel much better with Echo mode, and I highly recommend that you experiment with it for yourself to come to your own conclusions. There is more that I could say on that matter, but I don't want this video to go on for far too long, so I think it's time to go back on topic. Echo mode can be a bit similar to the old style of Hunting Horn, gameplay wise. Your ZR doesn't have iframes, so you will want to avoid attacks by doing a couple of things: evading, rolling out of the way, or with good positioning. Here as well, when the opening is long enough, you're gonna want to chain your notes into ZR. When that's not possible, you will want to use the right move for the right opening. It can be a back slam or a right swing. For some unknown reasons, the ZR in Echo mode doesn't feel the gauge as fast as the one in performance. To help with this, it's important to use your two Silkbind moves, Slide Beat and Earthshaker. Another unique property of Echo mode is that it makes your Slide Beat play the notes you have cued in your music staff. So what you can do with Slide Beat is using it offensively as well as a way to play or replay your songs, and that makes Slide Beat a lot more valuable in Echo mode. Your two Silkbind attacks, Slide Beat and Earthshaker, are fantastic. Slide Beat is a solid gap closer. It has hyper armor and that lets you go through roars and attacks. What if the monster falls away from you? Slide Beat. What if the monster decides to attack? Slide Beat. What if the monster keeps roaring over and over? Slide Beat. Then we have Earthshaker, my dopamine rush. It is so good to land until you miss for whatever reason, because that move has a very tiny hitbox, and then you question yourself and you start hating yourself and you start falling into depression. Earthshaker has a lot of things going for it. Good KO, good damage, and also hyper armor to trade for days. But there is one thing that you should always try to do, and that's landing your Earthshaker on the best hit zone available to you. I will explain why. Sure, the second hit of your shaker always deals good damage because it's a shockwave and that's its zone independent. However, the first hit The landing hit of your Earthshaker is a normal move. It's affected by affinity and the monster's hit zone. If you hit a weak spot with it, you will deal more damage. If you don't, your damage will suffer quite a lot. So in short, landing your shaker on the best hit zone is always recommended, and for a blunt weapon like hunting gun, that's typically the head of a monster. Another question that I see asked online very often is, what should I do when the monster goes down? Well fam, I got you covered. Before a monster goes down, there are two things that you want to make sure are ready. First, you want to make sure that your gauge is full or almost full. The second thing is having stored the mag trio by queuing 3 notes of different colors. If you aren't able to meet these two conditions before the down, don't worry, because what you're gonna want to do is use that opening to build up that gauge of yours, and the best way to do that is to use your ZRA loop. Now, if you do have these two things ready, here's a chart that you can follow. First, we start with mag trio or slide beat because these are the only two ways to transition into infernal melody when the gauge is full. After the infernal melody, we want to directly do an A input that we chain into ZR for the ZRA loops. And I will explain why we do AZR instead of ZRA. You see, after an infernal melody, it's a lot faster to use a note than to use ZR. If you press ZR after an infernal melody, the input is delayed and will take some time before it comes out. This is wasting time. However, if we after the infernal melody use A, X or XA, it comes out right away. And that is why we do A into ZR. Now, let's get back on topic. After those ZRA loops, you will finish that combo with a Earthshaker. Now, I want to elaborate about this specific part of the combo. The number of loops you will be doing will vary depending on which monster you're fighting. The total duration will not be the same from one monster to another, and that's easy to see when looking into the KO durations. Some monsters have a recovery animation at the end of their KO, and when that's the case, it's easy to know when to use your Earthshaker to finish the combo. However, others like Teostra, Chameleos, and Kushala do not have those recoveries at all. In that case, if you wanna end the combo with an Earthshaker, you may need to do less ZRA loops than necessary. You won't always be able to pull off this entire combo, but that is not the issue. What matters is understanding the flow of the combo. When a monster is down, it creates a big opening. What we wanna do is deal as much damage as we can during that period. And to achieve that, we need to buff ourselves even further beyond. And that involves Song of Raging Flames. So our priority is to perform an infernal melody in order to play Song of Raging Flames, which is a 20% attack buff. To use infernal melody, the attack that will trigger Song of Raging Flames, we need our gauge full or almost full. The progress on the gauge needs to be enough for slide beat or mag trio to fill it. That way we can chain either of those moves into infernal melody, and then we can go to town. That's the thought process behind the combo. So long as your gauge is almost there, we do the mag trio or the slide beat, we do infernal melody. Afterwards, a couple of ZRA loops, the way I told you to do so, and then if possible, we finish it off with a Earthshaker. What I've said about the ZRA loops also applies to using ZRA-XA. These two are interchangeable. So if you're playing performance, for example, you can do ZRA loops, and if you're playing echo mode, you can prioritize ZRA-XA. If you've made it this far, congratulations! I get a lot of questions about how to use this weapon, and it's now apparent to me that speedruns don't always help understanding how to play it. That is why I wanted to make this video, to share the knowledge and hopefully help you on your path to self-improvement. If you found this video useful, showing your support is always appreciated. You can also share this video with people you know who want to understand the hunting gun better. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bob, what did you say? I forgot to talk about melodic slap and beat of resonance?
You serious?
Do you mind to quit your pretending? Truth or false, shit never ending. Hear me now and stop condescending. You see I'm begging, you hear me begging. If you're sick for love, don't try to hide it. Find it deep inside and try to hide it. If there's a way, I wanna know who tried it. Quit your games and now that you deny it.